one of the ladies came with me. And do you know my niece Claudia?
I'm sure
The one that visits from Europe? Yeah. Well, anyway, she was here, and whatever entity, whatever impression came with us, she picked up a great big log, fire log, a fireplace, and threw it at us. So sometimes they, whatever comes in form of a ghost, can manipulate weight and throw stuff. You know what I mean? In the old house I used to have, somebody would throw macaronis at me, little soup macaronis, except I never had any. I never bought any, you know.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
so definitely there can be two different.
Yeah, I would think so.
At least, yeah.
Well, either that or the universe always gives you things that you can relate to.
Relate to.
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes when I talk to abductees, sometimes they look like somebody they know or they're comfortable with. That's not to frighten them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So sometimes it could look like your mother or your sister. Or
so it's not always the little green men or the little, you know.
No, I've never encountered little green man, and I've never seen a pickled alien in a jar either. You know.
So you're saying they can look like anyone.
Yeah.
So there could be encounters where the subject, the person that they're talking to, might not even realize.
Until later. Yeah.
Interesting.
So you know, I think the universe is so big and so inventive, we don't know what's out there. But today's today, I don't know what the date is, but Ancient Alien Season 3 is coming on tonight.
Oh.
And they're doing a really, really good job of, you know, explaining things. And you said you watch it?
I've seen it.
Yes. Can I get you to kind of push that door a little bit? And the reason why is there's a lawnmower out there. Good. That's good enough. Thank you. Yeah. So what do you do in your favorite spare time?
Read a lot. And meditate, you know. One thing popped into my head just now, though. Do you remember, and it must have been in July, or I'm sure I recall it being summer, but do you remember when there was the flying saucer that was like hanging over Mount Rainier?
Oh, yeah.
And it appeared nobody...
Yeah.
Few people could see this.
Right. And in fact, I filmed it from different angles.
I remember, I think...
And there were metal things coming out of it. Remember that?
And I remember I came from work and I called you and said, Lillian, you know what I saw today? And you said, I took pictures of it.
Yeah.
And I came running over to where you were living and we looked at all the footage.
Yeah.
And it was summer, it was just as clear, but obviously there were people who just could not see it.
And some people took pictures of it from Everett, from the other side, yeah.
Wow, and even in the pictures people couldn't always see it.
Yeah, you know, we used to report everything.
I remember when you were doing that.
Yeah. I showed you some part of a. Let's see, the show was Spacing with Dan, and I filmed the UFO over my house.
Right.
And when we were starting to talk about that, the camera, I had these funny disturbances. And the minute we start talking about the UFOs, you were doing the same thing. It did that.
That twinkling.
It did that twinkle, yeah. Yeah, we used to report everything, but I realized it wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
And I don't go to MUFON because it ends up in a book. So it to me, it doesn't really matter anymore. I don't have to prove anything.
It's already proven it exists.
Yeah, well, you know, you see it there. And I'm really sad that it's taken so long to, I mean, it's no big deal, you know, we got all these other problems, so what's a little alien, you know? Yeah.
Among friends, huh?
Yeah. So do you come from a background like that?
Of aliens?
Oh, well, no, maybe not aliens, but, you know,
Alien
paranormal
awareness?
activities in your family, you think?
My mother was Blackfoot Indian.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had psychic ability all of my life. I remember as a child telling my, and growing up in Virginia, Southern Baptist, you know, and going to the breakfast table and telling my my parents about the nice woman I had a talk with who came and sat on my bed, you know, the night before, or people I saw, and I remember it always sort of upsetting my father, but my mother talked about it with me, so I and my mother and I, you know, explored and learned more about, you know, paranormal activity and psychic ability and all of those kinds of things. So we shared an interest and ability, but I really didn't learn a lot more about it until I was an adult. You know.
Now, for a long time, I always thought that, well, you know, when people talk about love and, oh yeah, they pick a person, they love them and all of this, and I have realized that that's not the way it works. And where I'm going with this, your husband is from a different country. So you suppose it was the energy that attracted you to him originally?
I think it was, and he is a healer.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He came from an environment where it was natural and okay to be like that.
Accepted. Why?
Accepted. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
That maybe it's that your awareness and that energy that kind of took you there.
It's interesting that when I met him and we started dating, experienced like kind of a spike in activity and abilities and perception, and so it did act to bring us together and
here,
educate me, you know, from his cultural perspective, you know, how things are.
Hang on, I'm gonna pause this for a minute. Yeah, well, we thought one of our friends came, but guess not. Yeah. Sounded just like a person came in, no?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about the energy, things that attract us to people.
And perception, you know, just it heightened my perception of you know, awareness of did you hear that?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
It's not a human. No humans here. Just a cat. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Would it be funny if had somebody walk into the pictures? That would be good. It doesn't always happen like that. And so anyway, but when you think about it, sometimes, excuse me, we're born on different continents, and we were talking about destiny earlier today.
Yes, we were.
Now, your husband was born somewhere totally different, but there he is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So we can be born on one continent and end up where we're supposed to be.
Exactly.
I like the way you explain destiny. Can you explain it to me again, please?
Destiny to me is existing at, say, point A, and there's a point. Let's say
Let me see if I
there's
get
a
all of that on there while you, so I can see your hand movements.
oh, okay. So there's a point A, and then perhaps there's a Z, which is a a journey that leads to Z, but not everyone is meant to go to end up at Z, and maybe you're meant to end up at I don't know, G.
Mm-hmm.
And so destiny to me is having a specific point that you will arrive at regardless of the path you take. It could be an extremely winding, convoluted trail that leads you to G, but G is where you're going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to end up at Z,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's not your destiny to end up at Z, no matter what path you take, you're never going to end up there. You're going to end up exactly at the point that that it's written that you will end up, which is, could be G.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I said something about destiny, I had people saying, well, then it doesn't matter what I do, it's going to be like that. And I don't agree with that, simply because, let's say you have a criminal, and if he convinces himself it's his destiny, he doesn't have to take responsibility.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. But that's how it is. Do you have any insight? I'm looking for somebody to do the predictions with. So do you have any insights as what's coming next?
I think things will be really calm. I think there are a lot of things that are happening below the surface,
Mm-hmm.
and which appears that there's this calm,
Mm-hmm.
and that will continue for, 24. I hear, I don't know, 24. I'm assuming 24 months, and then we just shift into the next phase of what you were saying something earlier about wait a second, there'll always be another group or another conflict or another there'll always be another one.
Yeah, so if somebody's picking on you, just hang on.
Just hang on, it'll be someone else.
Someone else
soon.
will get you off the hook. Yeah.
So there'll be a new focus,
Mm-hmm.
and shift.
Everybody has a different idea on 2012. What do you think, if anything?
That's interesting. So so maybe what did I say? 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's next year. I don't think I don't feel there'll be any drastic change that'll occur then. I don't feel like there are going to be any shocking occurrences, changes, like at points in history where shocking things have happened that have just kind of catapulted us into this next level. I don't sense anything like that. I see us more of just kind of gliding on into it, and then rather getting in this new phase and turning around saying, when did that happen? It does, if that makes sense to you. Not any drastic changes. I don't see it politically or socially.
Yeah, but the only change is the people that's making a lot of money off of this, they're going to have to find something new. Yeah. Actually, I know somebody that's of Mayan descent, and sometimes we talk about things like that. And from what I understand, they actually found another timeline under one of the structures. Under the structures, don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I don't know which one of the pyramids it is, but somebody found a different setup there.
Oh,